So if you find yourself doing the alphabet backwards, and it's not just for fun, ask to call 1-800-NO-CUFFS. Since no one looks good in handcuffs, unless you're into that sort of thing. 1-800-NO-CUFFS. Handle. Morning.
KFI. Everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. KFI. AM 640.
We get troubled by strange noises in the middle of the night.
The answer asks for punishment. I'm Phil Hewitt from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Attorneys for Kobe Bryant's widow are asking a judge to punish Los Angeles County after receiving evidence that her lawsuit was allegedly destroyed. Mr. Bryant's attorney, LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva, ordered his deputies to delete graphic cell phone photos they allegedly took at the site of the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 other people. Bryant's legal team says Villanueva knew the evidence had to be preserved, but ordered the photos deleted anyway. The committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riots is sending subpoenas to more allies of former President Trump. Burbank Congressman Adam Schiff.
Most people are volunteering. We've interviewed over 150 people by now, but there are some, by virtue of their past resistance to lawful process, that we're much more skeptical about.
The committee wants to hear from former campaign advisor Jason Miller and former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Another subpoena has been sent to John Eastman, the former White House lawyer who spoke at Trump's big rally on January 6th. LA County Child Services is under fire again after a 4-year-old foster boy was beaten within an inch of his life. The case comes on the heels of 2 similar incidents in the Antelope Valley, including the high-profile death of Gabriel Fernandez. A woman is suing a fertility clinic in Encino after she allegedly gave birth to a stranger's baby. In a lawsuit, she and her husband claimed doctors implanted a stranger's embryo into her body and that their daughter was born with jet black hair and much darker complexion than the rest of their family. Genetic testing revealed the girl they raised for months actually belonged to complete strangers who they eventually switched babies with.
She married our older daughter. She was the little sister she fell in love with. And to understand the reality of what happened.
Southland weather from KFI. A mix of clouds and sun with highs in the upper 60s and low 60s at the Right now it's 56 in Fullerton. This is the A-Hill 54, Lakewood 57, and in Beverly Hills 54 degrees. We leave local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Phil Hewitt. North Hollywood, area of work zone. 27 southbound from Magnolia New York to the 101. 2 right lanes to the step down the road working for 5. Watch the flow in that area. East LA, this is on the 60 bound at Atlantic. We have debris and emergency crews taking up the right lane there. The drivers busting up into your boat. Ontario, there is a work zone. 60 westbound from Haven Grove to Avenue. 3 right lanes are going to be shut down for road work. KFI and the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Van.
If you're thinking about refinancing your mortgage, maybe you already filed, maybe you already have refinanced in 2020, it's still more than worthwhile to contact HMS Capital. Mark Tice of HMS Capital recommends you apply with HMS Capital and then any other lender. HMS Capital is the only lender I know that actually encourages homeowners to apply with other lenders. That's the best deal. And I've known Mark for over 16 years, and I've done 2 mortgages with him. No appraisal or application fees of any kind. Take the HMS Capital challenge. Apply with another mortgage company, and also apply with HMS Capital. The rates are the lowest they've ever been. Call 833-255-5698.
Coco.
Visit HMScapital.com. Capital.com.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad for your phone. It's great. Listen to all 8 years on radio. Create a customized ad builder. Hey, you don't have to wait for Veterans Day to thank a veteran. Thank a vet today. And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
How is this the Wild Duck? Wild Burgers, Wild Brewskis, Wild Bites. All the wild things at Wild Burgers.
Number 4.
Thanksgiving is Christmas giveaway. Get a Happy Post Office and you get a 500 points on your reward card. The 15th to 16th. Free. Yes, that is a 30-foot LED screen with all the games on it every Sunday at Tyrone Bar. No question, Jimmy.
And the number 2.
Live December 4th. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
And the number 1 reason.
Tickets full of dollars. You can get $500 cash playing table games with the reward card. The Wednesday and Thursday.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good time.
IQ Air wants to give you the cleanest air possible, and the affordable Autumn Series does just that.
The Autumn Desk is a revolutionary air purifier that transforms your workspace into personal clean air zones.
Unlike other air filtration systems that may take hours to purify the air, the Autumn Desk begins working immediately.
Put it right next to you while you work and create your own personal bubble of ultra-pure air.
This game-changing technology has been proven to remove 99% of all airborne pollutants.
Visit IQAir.com/US to learn more. Give them a call, 800-500-4AIR, 800-500-4247.
I had 3 cousins pass away from COVID-19. One of them I was very close with. These guys taught me how to get on the line as a football player. What I think people read, not very much. That whether in their own life or the people that are around. Take it from me, the vaccine saves lives. Find a vaccine near you at myturn.ca. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. Live from the gateway to the West, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Next up, we're going to talk about the book of buried letters and inside past life connections. Mary Muter with us, and she's next on Coast to Coast AM. This fall, as you get back into the swing of things, our friends at Bespoke Post, they're here with a new season lineup of must-have what we call Box of Awesome collections. Now, what Bespoke Post does is they partner with small businesses and emerging brands to bring you very unique goods every month. And this Box of Awesome has you covered from all kinds of things, and Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. What you should do to get started is take the quiz. Go to the website, boxofawesome.com, take the free quiz. Your answers will help them pick the right kind of box just for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. And
Thank you, George.
skip a month if you want to. Each box costs only $45, but has more than $70 worth of gear inside. It's really got great value, and it's fun. Each Box of Awesome is supporting small businesses as well. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter my code George at checkout and take advantage of it. That's boxofawesome.com, code George, for 20% off your first box.
Want to learn a new language so it will actually stick? Try Babbel. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app. ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people, so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the question with short videos. Whatever your learning style, Babbel gives you the tools you need. Babbel, more ways to learn. Now try Babbel free at babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign of COVID and the flu.
So make sure you use an accurate thermometer. Only the Exogen Temple Scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them, and you cannot rely on them. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at exogen.com.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you, lifelong metaphysician and author. Mary Buter has been experiencing what it's like to live inside the veil all of her life, and after studying psychology and sociology while delving into theory, Mary has worked for 20 years as a practitioner in the realm of metaphysics. A couple of her books include The Book of Buried Letters and Inside Past Life Connections. Mary, welcome to the program. Looking forward to this.
Hi, thank you for having me.
What a great titles, by the way. The Book of Buried Letters and Inside Past Life Connections. Tell me about The Book of Buried Letters, that title.
Well, the Book of Buried Letters is exactly what it is. When I was young, starting about 4 years old, I actually started writing poems, predictions, and theories on life and burying them in glass jars.
You'd dig a hole and bury them?
I would literally dig a hole and bury them, usually with my hands. I would run out into the woods. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and was backing a park. It was Tryon Creek State Park. And it was this rainforest, and I would run down there, and there was a certain pine tree that had this root that's like an elbow. And in that root, I could dig really deep, and I would stick mason jars with letters buried in that, and then so soon a whole bunch of trees were now the keeper of the secret. And they stayed in the subterranean and keep for over 40 years. And
did you dig them all up?
We dug up many of them. And so we have thousands of these letters, and there are probably still jars out there up and down the west coast of the United States. I know that there were some letters that I buried in Australia and some on this little island in Wisconsin.
Did you throw any in the sea by any chance?
I did, actually. I doubt those made it because I don't think I properly put it in a jar that would last. But I did write a letter to my older sister after she passed away, so I was an adult, and threw that into the ocean for her. So.
Any predictions come true?
Yes, I did have some predictions come true. So I had predictions, personal predictions that came through and came true. I had predicted that my sister would pass away, and that was hard and sad. I predicted a couple things. I worked with, well, I didn't work with, my brain was working with different forms of quantum theoretics. I wrote about mitochondrial DNA in the early 1970s when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and I would write about that. I wrote about changing different proteins. I wrote about, being able to change cells and feed things differently and possibly change their chemical makeup.
Did you see a pandemic in there by any chance?
Yeah. I see a lot of pandemics.
That's right, too.
I've got 2 different last names for you on these 2 books.
Oh, I have Marin Meandering. That was kind of my pen name. I did that as fun because I meandered around a lot. And then Marin Meter, and people are like, Marin, you really should actually start using your last name. And I said, all right.
Now, you in a childhood house that you went back later. Anything unusual happen with that?
Yeah, so I went back to go find some more of these letters. I got a message, someone saying, hey, your childhood home is available, it's for sale. I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. I'd love to go see it because so many things happened in that home. It was a haunted house. Spirits from the man that built the house, and then there was a little girl that perished in the house, and so she had a spiritual imprint at the house. So there's a lot of memories there that I wanted to go and see. And when I got to the house, we were doing the tour, and I said, oh, you know what, I bet there's some letters in the attic. And I said, there's nothing in the attic. You haven't lived here for over 30 years, and believe me, the homeowner knows this house really well. I said, I bet there's letters in the attic. And so I crawled up into the attic, went up the little rickety ladder, and there between the eaves and the fireplace, there's a little tiny wedge, and we pulled out letters from between the eaves and the fireplace that were still there.
Did your memory come back to where you were putting these?
It did. I remembered almost exactly where I put every single one.
That's incredible. That is something. We're going to get into your works in a moment here, Mary, and that's fascinating. When you talk about pulling back the veil, what is the veil?
Anyway.
Yeah, so the veil is actually created by our brain. So the veil isn't, outside of our body. It's our body that's actually creating the veil. Because our overarching consciousness, where all of our memory is stored, where all of the information that we have access to or that we gain even down here on this earthbound plane,
This is such a
outside of our body. But when our brain develops, it's actually closing off these different frequencies, so we don't have information that we don't need in this life. And that happens when we're born. It closes off a lot, and then as we progress and we start understanding and comprehending certain aspects, the frequencies will open up a little more and give us a little bit more information, and a little bit more information, the more that we actually end up comprehending.
Does the brain filter us to protect us?
It does. I mean, it's not necessarily just protection, but it's so that we can function here as a human being. So imagine for a moment that if our brain was a radio station or a radio receiver, and every single radio station on the face of the planet started playing all at the exact same time, and you couldn't turn off any of it, but you had to find the one frequency that was like directions to the grocery store. Well, it would be very, very hard. And so what our brain does is it quiets all of that down, so the only information that we have here is going to be the information that we need, basically for our survival and for our interaction with the world around us. In that sense, it is protecting us, because if we had all of this information that was unneeded, we would basically be short-circuiting.
That's an interesting take. Now, is this a natural thing, or is this a God-given thing? How did we get this ability?
Well, it's definitely very natural, because that's how we were created. Now, I believe that we do have higher intelligence, and we are designed this way, just as the plants are designed as they are, and animals are designed as they are, and there's consciousness in everything. I mean, basically, consciousness is when you have a sensation of the world around you, and you have knowledge of the world around you, then you basically have consciousness. So in their own ways, everything does. But when we become unconscious, basically what we're doing is it's like going into a general anesthetic, which is interrupting the nerve signals in your brain and your body, and it prevents your brain from processing pain, and it prevents your brain from remembering what's happening. So that is all on this first bound stage in our physical body here. That doesn't mean that the consciousness is gone. It just means that our brain has turned everything off and isn't remembering what's going on. So yes, I do believe that there's higher intelligence, and I do believe that this was designed this way, and it was designed brilliantly, actually.
Yes, it sure was. Mary would call you a metaphysician. Exactly what is that?
A metaphysician to me is someone who studies the world unseen. So for me, I study from the brain basically outwards. I look at consciousness. I really want to study what's going on consciously, like how does consciousness work? How does it impact our life here? And how is it possible that, we have memory from somewhere else? We might have memory, and we look at this in children, memories from other life experiences. Or we might be able to communicate with people that have been and how do that work and how does that play in and work harmoniously with what we see in our universal patterns? So we look at the universe and we go say, well, there is patterning, and there is patterning not only out on the universal plane, but on the earthbound plane, and then also in the unseen plane, so in our dark matter and dark energy and things like that. There is consistency.
What does consciousness mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question.
All my questions are good, man.
Consciousness to me just is basically awareness. So, observation. So when we have an overarching consciousness, we have awareness. So that means that we have thought process, and once it's outside of this body, the human vessel, the thought process might look differently because it's all basically different frequencies up there, not necessarily, tangible human body up on the other side because it is more a frequency. So our brain is taking these different frequencies and demodulating them or translating the frequencies into things that you can understand and hear. So when I think of consciousness, I think of comprehension, I think of understanding, and I think of awareness, basically.
I think a lot of people are looking for spiritual to tie themselves into.
Count the roll, count the roll.
Release their calls, not fire. You're going to learn from people who get it. They're into this. But how many people don't understand this?
Yeah, I think secretly, most people do get it. But we find it down, like we were talking about earlier, that, if we don't really need it, if we don't really need to know this, and it's not really making an impact in our life, we're not going to be looking for it. We're not going to be actively seeking out it. Now, some people have, this stuff too, and they're like, I know there's more, and they're seeking, okay, how do I connect to this more? And how do I do that? So you have people, in different realms and different areas of their life, and their lives look a little bit different, but we're all connected. And so that innate understanding is there, even if it's super quiet, even if it's not, if it's not looked at.
It's interesting take. Now, the other book that we're talking about, Inside Past Life Connection, starts by saying, Dear Flower Lady. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So this is, it also kind of gives a backstory to the book of Buried Letters. So the Dear Flower Lady is someone that I had known in another life experience. And that's who I ended up writing to as a child. And because the book is about inside past life connection, it shows the awakening me that, hey, there is another life experience. And I started writing to the flower lady as I would camp, like I was away at camp here.
Alright, John Coco.
Telling her what I was
Easy,
observing
right,
and
fast.
seeing. And so that's who the flower lady is. And through the book, we kind of touch on the flower lady. I share some more of the letters that we unearthed, and it just kind of runs through the story as we talk about how these memories work and how we are able to access them.
Interesting cover with butterflies all over the little girl. You like butterflies?
I do. I used to raise monarchs in my bedroom.
Really? They didn't scare you?
No.
Interesting. You like spiders?
Sort of a distance.
I want to do a show one day on phobias, and I bet a lot of people don't like spiders.
I just don't want to wake up and have them in my bed.
Oh no, that is not a, or on your face when you wake up or something.
Oh, one time it was horrible, and it had nothing to do with teaching. But I was a nanny when I first decided to go out and leave home. And I had left the bedroom window open, and I had a June bug literally crawl into my ear. So I do not like carrying with anyone. That was so painful.
How'd you get it out?
I had to get to the emergency room.
Oh, really? Did they get the whole thing?
Yeah, it took like 2.5 hours.
Bugs in the ear.
Yeah, let's not do that.
No, not at all. You have worked as... You're not, I can't call you a medium, can I?
Well, you can, but I don't work as a medium. necessarily. I do have a lot of, short,
I will be impressed
messages,
if you
I
fuck
do
it.
receive messages, and I help people learn how to get messages for themselves. So I actually, teach people the tools on how to open up these different frequencies so you can get these messages coming in. But, yeah.
During the true Halloween, we've had a lot of programs on near-death experiences and afterlife and all that. In your opinion, what is the other side?
Fucking dude. They will be
And
impressed.
the other side is something that it really doesn't have human vocabulary to describe it. So that's number one. So I'm going to do the best I can to describe it with the vocabulary that I have. And that would be, it is the most horrible of compassion. And it's all
That's what I should say.
why depth of compassion is important is because it's something beyond